Where are you currently at this particular moment in time? And what are you doing?
What's the name of this? Or how do you pronounce it? It's like Muros de Manos? Malos.
Malos.
Muros de
Malos?
No.
The bad murals?
No. This is a good start, though.
This is a real good start. Let's mispronounce some things
Is it
and forget
Nalos?
where we are.
I've been so bad at remembering the names of places on this one.
I've not been the best as well. Anywho,
we're in Spain.
We have not moved very far from where we were last because we're walking on foot. But I think it's been about 11 days we worked out since we've last recorded. And you might be able to hear the grumbles of our tummies because we've had some stomach issues as of recent, which have not been so good. It's been the shits, you could say.
It's been shitty.
But I legit got sick with, not the walks.
Not pukey sick.
But the runs in Gijón. We had a rather fun night there. Yeah, a wonderful kebab. Started out with the most delicious lamb kebab that we've ever had. And after that, I was not feeling so hot. Blame it on the bab or blame it on the water. I don't know, but
something hit your stomach and it went nope.
It went, I'm going out.
For 3 days.
No, it wasn't that bad.
For 5 days.
But so, yeah, I was so severely dehydrated and just not feeling so good the next day. So I took a bus. And apparently I missed a very beautiful and scenic day that Carl had yesterday. He can tell you about it if he wants to.
It was a lovely morning. I also had the runs and had to instantly shit on my way out of the city.
Where did you find a spot?
I just found a cafe on the outside of town.
Oh, that's good.
And was like, I need to use their bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did, but, I had to do something. I couldn't just use it. So I bought a coffee, which is not a bad thing.
But also not a good thing when you got your issue.
I had the thought, but I was like, I don't know what else to get. I'll just get a coffee.
Yeah. Mm.
And then I continued on my way out of town, which involved factories and an industrial area and a bunch of smokestacks with plumes of terrible smells.
Ooh.
As well as recycling places that had car parts and everything was gray and old and run down and gritty and slummy, and it was very pretty.
Sounds magical.
And yeah. And then there was a lot of road, which my feet enjoyed immensely.
Yeah.
And some was along a highway that was really busy. And then there was a few other sections that was...
I feel like an apple's gonna drop on my head. I heard something.
Did you?
Did you?
No.
I'm scared. We're sitting right under an apple tree.
We're in a hammock. We're in a hammock.
We're in a hammock.
And the two trees that it's tied to are both apple trees, but they are constantly falling.
There are apples all over the ground. And I heard one. Actually, you had a little one fall on you just a minute ago.
Yeah.
But some of them are quite big. And I'm afraid to just get knocked on the head during this recording. So, this could happen. Yeah. It's going to get interesting.
But yeah, there was another pretty long stretch of road where it was basically the lane for the car, and there was nowhere to walk on the side of the road. It was like you were forced into the lane because where the painted line had gone down the road was where there was just a wall of stinging nettles.
Ugh.
So you were, yeah, it was just, a wall of shit next to you, and you were just forced in the lane. And it went through some curvy bits and through like a tunnel. And yeah, it was hard on the feet. It was a long day. And pretty unsightly and smelly, and
Yeah,
it was
sounds
rough.
like I missed a really good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. So I took the bus at like 9, and I got to the city that I was going to at 9:30. And I was like, oh shit, I'm here already. I guess I'll just walk to the beach. And so I walked over to the beach and just kind of watched some surfers for a while, and I listened to a podcast of mine. And that, not of my own, but of...
No, that's what I thought you meant.
No! That'd be so sad. But kind of funny. And I'm totally guilty of doing it on long bus rides. But, no, I was listening to My Favorite Murder, which is an awesome... I'm getting tired, maybe, and I need a nap. But it's an awesome true crime podcast. So, a comedy one. I was listening to that and almost falling asleep. And, yeah, having a good day. But kind of uneasy still on the stomach. And...
That's nice.
Yeah. Let me just ramble on into this fuzzy ball.
Your eyes look so heavy right now.
I feel like I need a nap. I don't know why. But once we got into this hammock and it started swaying back and forth, I'm like, this is nice. How about I just take a little snooze?
You need an apple to drop on your head or something to wake you up.
I probably do. Anyways, so what happened to you at the end of your day yesterday, though?
So I walked nonstop without a break after my cafe butt release stop, which was basically still in town. And it was like 25, almost 26 kilometers.
Oh, sorry. Did you just call it a butt release stop? I just pictured you like pulling this lever and then your butt detached from your body and you just walked. You walked away without your butt. Anyways, okay, keep going.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was about 26 kilometers that I just shoved out and just did it all in one push. And that sounded terrible.
I know, I wasn't going to say anything. But I'm so glad you did. Then I just shoved out and I gave it a good push. I'm like, are you still talking about your butt release cafe? What the fuck? This is a great podcast. I'm so glad you guys are tuning into us. Sleepy in a hammock, dodging apples, talking about shits.
Oh
shit.
Anywho, yeah, so because I had read in my guidebook that the stage of the Camino was supposed to be one of the more, unsightly and less than appealing walks of the whole way. I made it the whole stage, which, was about 26 kilometers without stopping. And I finally took a break. And then where we had planned on going for the end of the day was another 7.5 kilometers. So roughly about 2-hour hike more. And I had gotten to town at about noon. And then I had something to eat real quick. I stopped for about 10 minutes and took my shoes off and had something to eat. And was making really good time. And then I started going again, and I got kind of lost because the markers weren't very well in this town called Aviles. And I think it only took like 20 minutes. It's like 10 minutes one way, and I realized that there were no more markers, and it just felt wrong. So I went 10 minutes back, and then found my way again and started going. But then I got really lost, and it was right at the end of the day when I thought, oh, it was a long day. Just talking about it makes me tired. It was, I think, because at this point, I would have been walking like 7 hours or something.
And that's a decent day.
Yeah.
7 hours.
And then realized that I wasn't, or like I had missed something. And with how my guidebook was, it wasn't very informative. And with the elevation gain and all that, it looked like I was just still on the right track, but it just felt wrong. I couldn't see anyone for a while, and finally ended up finding this Spanish woman. She was like picking pears in her yard with her mother, and she did not speak any English, so I was trying to relay like where I wanted to go and where were we, and turns out I had basically sidestepped this whole stretch of the Camino, which is where we wanted to go, and where Whit had taken the bus to.
Yeah, where I was.
And it was like another 4 kilometers back, and I was just like, ah, shit. But this sweet little Spanish lady walked back with me for like 20 minutes.
Wow.
Just so she could point out where this albergue was, which was like a converted church, I think.
Yeah, it was like a monastery.
Or monastery, yeah. And so it had a big like pillar dome thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we had to walk, like 20 minutes until, there was a clearing where she could point that out and, let me know where it was. And I kept trying to relay, it's not necessary that you walk as well, because she was a bit older too.
Mm-hmm.
And I could hear her like breathing hard. And
So
some of the road got kind of steep, and she was like, and I was like, oh my God, stop. And I told her like 3 times, it's not necessary that you also walk.
Yeah.
And she was like, no. And she was basically explaining like she's walked the Camino before and she understands. And she's like, oh, I smoke now, but, many years ago I did the Camino. And I was just like, oh my God. She was just this little cute Spanish lady. And super helpful. But when she said goodbye, she was, it almost like made her day too, it seemed like.
Aww.
She like, kissed both her hands and then like threw it at me. And was just
so
like, I was just really grateful, and it was adorable.
Aww.
And really helpful because, but yeah, it was shitty but awesome, and I guess, the opposite aspect of it all.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, by the time I did get to the albergue, it was like 4 o'clock almost, so it would have been like a 9-hour day.
Yeah.
Of hiking and a lot of road.
Yeah.
And I was just not even mentally there, really.
Yeah, it's funny because like do the hills and do the climbs and the descents like take it out of you more, or does the road take it out of you more? Yeah, same.
For sure. I mean, a little bit's fine. Yeah. But when it's like
just flat road from like
I mean, if you took out the dirt paths and everything, it was probably like 7.5 hours of road for that day.
Holy crap.
And
That's
then
bad.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly.
Well, yeah. Like my dad had mentioned, he thinks the universe gave me the shits for a reason.
And honestly, maybe it was just to, I don't know, throw me under the bus and break me down in a way. I don't know. Like
you needed it?
Maybe. Maybe I needed to be humbled, or maybe I needed to meet that woman that was really sweet and nice.
Yeah, totally.
I thought that was really awesome. That was a cool
really
moment
cute.
for me.
Yeah.
And then actually this morning, because I had basically walked half of the stage that we did yesterday on top of my other day.
Yeah.
We walked back by the house today, going the right way.
Yeah.
And but she wasn't out or anything. I was kind of hoping she'd be out again, and I could get a photo with her or something.
Aww. You could walk back and.
Yeah, honestly, I could never. As soon as we got past it, I was like, I'm never going back there again. That was a terrible thing.
Yeah. But I was gonna try to say, like, what were some of the highlights that we both have experienced since the last podcast that we recorded.
Honestly, I think I was actually telling this to Sam last night. I really like our Camino group, or like our little Camino family right now.
Yeah.
And
We made a
Sam is
Camino
one of them.
Yeah.
He's this young guy from England. He's from Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
He's 22.
Yep.
And he's just like a little stout, athletic guy. He plays rugby and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's this girl originally from Munich, I think, from
What?
Germany.
Was she originally from Munich?
I want to say I saw München on her ID that she handed over.
Yeah, I think.
Anyway,
I think it's Cologne, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, this gal from
Someone's
Germany,
smoking weed.
and
Did you get those whiffs?
I got a whiff of something.
I got a whiff of something.
You hit your arm.
Your arm.
But it's, this girl, Jana from Germany, and she lives in Austria and Vienna now, though.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them are walking by themselves, but kind of
Mhm.
teamed up, and then we kind of grouped up with them, and
Yeah.
we've been walking and staying in the same place with, reserving 4 beds as a group
Mhm.
for the past 4 nights.
Mhm. I think so.
Actually, honestly, the first time we saw them was in Güemes when we recorded last.
Not Sam.
But not Sam?
No, but her. Yeah, Yana. We saw her at
Oh,
breakfast
okay.
the next day, leaving. It
But
was very
then
brief. I think you
It was
poured
brief.
her coffee.
No, she poured me coffee,
yeah.
and I didn't remember her because then we had ended up meeting her again, and then for the first time, Sam at this other really nice place.
Mhm.
That was about a week ago. And then she was like, "Oh yeah," I was like, "What's your name?" And she was like, "I'm Yana. I met you in Güemes. I poured you coffee." And I was like, "Oh shit!"
Why do you remember?
I was like, "Well, there was also like 80 people here, and
Yeah, that's true.
I don't remember. I'm sorry."
She was teasing.
Not that she was upset, but
No,
it was just kind of funny.
Mhm. But they were good. Like, I guess, like kind of what Sam would say is we kind of take the piss out of each other. So it's a English expression of just to tease each other.
Yeah.
So it's a good group of peeps that we can just kind of rag on in a good way, though.
Just be yourself and not take things too serious and enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, totally. So
yeah,
that's cool. It always takes about half of your Camino to gather like a little crew.
Oddly, it's never. I don't know. At least with my experience, it's never been at the start. It's always been about halfway through the Camino, and then it's almost like you find your pace, you build your body up, and then you are delivered your Camino family.
On a silver
It's like
shit platter. No, I'm just joking. I don't know.
Shit platter.
I'm so tired. This hammock was a bad idea. I'm falling asleep here. Ow. Okay. Yeah, I'll wake up. So yeah, that's been good.
So that's what I'm really happy about at the moment is we have our nice little group, and like I told Sam last night, I was like, I really like the group we have. There's a few other people as well. Like there was this Romanian guy, Alex,
he's funny.
who is fucking hilarious, man. And just with
his
his English is really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, even the vocabulary he uses and everything is
totally.
like impressive.
Yeah.
But just his accent when he talks, oh my god, it just cracks me up. And he's kind of a funny guy anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had to keep going. He's on a bit of a tighter schedule, so sadly I think he's ahead and will stay ahead for the remainder.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because he said he only has so much time, and he was going like twice as far as what we did today. And I don't think he has time to kind of hang back.
Yeah.
But then oddly, there's been so many Germans.
This is the German
Camino. Is the German Camino. There's like more, we actually looked at statistics because you get checked in at every albergue and they take your passport or your ID if you're from Europe or whatever. And there are more Germans, at least last year, that had done this, and even Spanish people. By like a lot.
Yeah.
By like 25% or more.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's proven true again this year, seemingly, at least for our experience. Because we've met 2 other German gals that have also kind of been, I wouldn't say as teamed up, but, you know, we've
seen them a couple times. I mean, we only just saw Kate, though, again after some time.
Yeah.
In the past when we slept in that horrible mosquito place.
Yeah. They've kind of been popping in and out. And then there was another German gal that we had just passed on the road, and she's kind of teamed up with another German pair.
And there's a German person, and there's another German person.
Yeah,
it's crazy how many Germans there are.
And everyone that I've asked as far as the German people why they chose this way, it's always because of the sea.
Yeah.
Like they always wanted to, you know, I really love the mountains or I really love the ocean. And so this one sounded good. And also that they all have like, oh, I've heard the French way is just there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so that's why they've chosen this way. So
maybe because they're mostly landlocked, Germany, right?
Mostly. I mean, it is along the coast too,
yeah.
but I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's obviously in the north, and I don't know how, you know, Spain's a lot further south. I don't know how nice
true.
it is.
Like they don't just go jumping into the beach all the time.
But some of their beaches look nice. I've never been to them, but, you know, I've seen photos and stuff. What?
God, you were like pinching my leg.
I didn't do anything.
It hurt.
I didn't even know.
Well,
Maybe you got bit by a fly.
No, it was your leg on top of the skin on my leg.
Oh, good.
Thanks. So I feel like we're derailing here. How about we just get back on track and talk about... So highlights you said were the Camino crew that we've accrued.
That and I'm pretty physically fit, I can feel.
Yeah.
As far as like, yeah, even yesterday when I had my long day, that it was still going to be like a 32 or 33 kilometer day, but it ended up being about 40. And my feet were like pounding by the end of it. But even still today, like I felt fine again.
Yeah.
So it's like I can recover quickly and able to do long stretches without waking up feeling like my legs are stiff as boards.
Yeah, I feel good too physically. I mean, besides the stomach issues, but which are getting better. But I feel like my body can handle walking a lot longer, and it doesn't feel as sore as it once was. And you know, I think I've lost quite a bit of weight, and my muscles are getting stronger. And it's nice feeling like you can actually start walking without suffering.
And you're just like
too much.
Physically capable and not so worried about like, oh my God, this is gonna kill me.
Yeah, this is gonna be bad today.
Like, I might have a shit day, but I'll still be fine tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. You bounce back a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But
so that'd be another thing.
I would say some of the walks that were along the coast. Oh, it felt like something did bite me.
See, it's not me.
No, that felt very different. Oh my God, don't push us over. We're like kind of getting close to the ground with our heads, right? Oh, not too bad.
Tripping.
You tripping.
Tripping, boo.
So some of the walks along the coast were pretty awesome. Like the one leaving Güemes, which was where we had last recorded, was one of the coolest. And it was just along like cliffside, and there were rows of corn at the left-hand side, and then you were on this small, like little narrow path, and then it was basically like cliffside and ocean.
Yeah.
And there were tons of surfers everywhere, and it was super, super pretty. And so that was definitely a highlight, that walk. And we've had a few.
We've actually, since Güemes, we've had a lot of some of my favorite hikes.
Yeah, totally.
It's just been really pretty. Lots of green trails with ferns and Yeah, like through forested sections and eucalyptus groves and
Yeah.
really nice beaches. Really unique landscapes too in some spots, whereas like these weird jaggedy rocks that were almost singy like those singies in
They were singing?
yeah, they were singing at me.
Yeah? What'd they say?
No, like the singies in Madagascar, you know,
Yeah.
where it's almost like sharp looking.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that. If you threw that in like a rolling seaside green hill from Ireland and put those together, it'd be kind of what it looked like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just been really, really pretty.
Yeah, totally.
Aside from yesterday.
Yeah. We did have one rainy day, but we kind of made it so that it would fall on a shorter day of walking.
Yeah, we kind of planned that out,
We did
which
walk
I'm
like
glad we did.
3 full hours without like any breaks hardly. I don't think we took one break actually that day. And that was full on in the rain. And that was pretty hard. I think I had gotten blisters shortly. Or actually, it was that day I got blisters. Are you rocking us now?
Yeah.
Stop it. You're going to put me to sleep.
It's nice.
It is kind of nice, but I don't want to fall asleep.
No, fall asleep.
Ah.
I'll slap you every 2 minutes.
Cool, thanks. But yeah, so that one was definitely, or that has been definitely a highlight, is some of the walks along the coast. And then, I don't know, we've had weird experiences too. Like there was the Pendueles, which is kind of a recurring joke that we have with our crew. Because we had walked one day and it was along the coast and it was really pretty, but then we saw clouds start rolling in and they looked dark, like they were going to start raining. And once we get into this town, it does start dumping on us and we're like, oh crap. And so we finally get to this albergue that we were trying to get to, but it ended up being closed. And we're like, shit, where do we go? And someone was like, oh, it's over, go over here, there's an albergue. And so we go there, and it ends up being, like, the person wasn't there. So I call...
The hospitalero.
Yeah,
I
call her, and I say, do you have 2 beds? And so she spoke no English, which, it happens. But it makes for interesting moments when it's hard to communicate with somebody. And so she even because we know a little teeny bit of Spanish and we would say we know a little, but she wouldn't slow anything down. She still spoke very rapid Spanish and I could not understand a lot of the things that she was saying. And she'd almost be impatient with you, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, what? I have no idea. And so she gets over there, she checks us in, she shows us to the rooms, she separates us into, gendered rooms, and apparently we had asked Yana and Sam if they got that, and they were like, no, we were in the same room.
Because they were also in the same albergue
a different
night after us.
Yeah. And so we were like, oh, that's weird. We got separated. And at first they thought we were talking about a different place because it just sounded like they had a very different experience than we did. And so she offered one lady to cook for her. She didn't offer to cook for us.
She didn't even allow us to use the kitchen at first, even though it was just...
it was locked with a thing that said Privado, and nobody could go in. And we're like, oh, okay. So we were just hanging out front, and we were, eating chips and having a drink, and she was like, oh, you want to come into the cocina? And she, motioned with her mouth to her, or her hand to her mouth, food. And we thought that meant, I have food for you, or you can come eat, and we're like, oh, okay, so you have food. So we go into the kitchen.
She, hands us a plate. And then she just stands there.
Yeah, and the one woman's eating a plate of food that she cooked her. And we're just
sitting there with an empty plate
there, like,
for awkwardly for like 10 minutes, and we're like,
yeah.
okay.
We're like, what do you expect us to do with this?
And then I asked her, I was like, can we use the kitchen to cook? And she was like, oh, no. Yeah, and she pointed to the microwave, and she was like, you can use the microwave. And we were like, what?
What? Yeah.
Okay. And so we just like sat there awkwardly for another little bit.
And then she was kind of like,
she asked us what we wanted to use.
Okay, what do you want to use? And I was like,
just the stovetop.
Probably the stovetop to make pasta. And she was like, okay. And so
she like pointed down at her wrist, motioning like, well, don't use too much time.
Yeah, and so she like hurriedly like put a bowl or a pan of pasta, a pot of water on the stove to like boil it so that we could put our pasta
God, you're
in
so
it.
Tired.
I'm so tired. This is really hard for me. Shut up.
She put a pot of pasta on the microwave stove.
Shut up. This is not a good time of day.
This was your idea to do it now. It was like we just had lunch after our hike today, and you're like, okay, let's record. Perfect.
Literally. Like
let's also do it in the hammock over there underneath the shady apple trees.
Shut the fuck up. I want to say that the funniest part about this is that if they could see us right now, we are almost like horizontal in this hammock. You have pushed us to where our knees are above our heads. And we are like in this sleeping position under a shaded, nice apple tree. I am like so tired right now. This is ridiculous.
I'm just aiming it to where I hope the apple will fall and it'll be able to hit you in the face.
Great. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of the position that we're in, which is hilarious, but also kind of tiring.
Is that why you just had the biggest yawn of your life just now?
So she hurriedly like puts a pot of water on and starts boiling it, and we didn't even have any pasta. And I
had to go run to the store.
Yeah.
And Whit was getting stressed out because I was
so
like
stressed already.
Okay,
I was like, oh my god.
So what am I doing? And she like snapped her finger at me. It was like, go to the store and get pasta. I was like, Jesus. So I like
stressing me out. She's like, I'll put a pot of water on without even asking you. What do you want to cook? Oh my god, hurry up. And I'm like, oh, what? Huh?
Well, why don't you have the pasta? We're like, because you said we couldn't use the fucking kitchen at first.
I know. And
so I hurriedly went to the market down and around the corner and got like, pasta and sauce.
Yeah, but I'm sitting there waiting with her, like, tapping her toe and, like, waiting for me. She's like, oh, the water's boiling. She takes off the lid, and I'm, like, trying to tell her in broken Spanish that you went to the store. I'm like, I was like, mi novia es a la tienda. And she was like, oh, okay, and kind of, like, rolls her eyes. I'm like, oh, my God, what is this? And so then Carl gets back from the store with the pasta, and we start boiling it. And she's
was boiling. We start cooking the pasta.
Yeah, we start cooking the pasta.
And then she's asking like 3 minutes in if the pasta's done. We're like, well, no, we just put it in.
And she's like, busybodying around the kitchen, like wiping stuff down. And then she like hovered over my shoulder and was like, ready? And I'm like, no! And then
it was seriously like every minute after that was ridiculous. Like, oh, is it ready now?
We were so stressed. It was like the most stressful dinner in Spain. And I'm like, you people aren't like this. Who are you? Where are you from?
Yeah, you Spanish people have all the time in the world. What are you doing?
You guys are like eating by 8 or 9 or later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just really an odd...
So then she, like, drained the pasta and everything, too, and she, like, threw everything in the pot herself and was just like, all right, here you go, and... You know, and then like threw it on a plate.
No, I mean, okay, so here's
it was all very rushed and haphazardly done.
Yes, but she was sweet.
Oh, very sweet.
No, I'm just saying she wasn't like rude, but she was just like hurriedly rushing us to do stuff. But also just not like, she wasn't like ill-willed. Like she wasn't mean.
Yeah, it wasn't like an aggressive, angry,
it wasn't aggressive,
but it was just like impatient and like she had somewhere to be or that she wanted to be otherwise.
I think she did.
I was like, bitch, you're a hospitaliero.
She's a hospitalera. Anyways.
A bad one.
So that was weird. And then the night wasn't any better for Carl. Because there were mosquitoes. And there was a mysterious fan man.
Well done.
You're welcome.
That took a lot of effort from you.
No, it wasn't. I was just delaying it so it would
Be dramatic.
add drama. Are you going to talk about your fan man?
Do you want me to talk about the fan man?
Yeah, talk about your fan man.
Okay,
this is
so
Camino life.
As most places, the room is filled with many bunks. And the room can be nice and cool until everyone gets in the room, and then the temperature starts to fucking skyrocket.
Especially if they close the windows.
So the window was open still, but it was fucking hot and stuffy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it had just rained too, so it felt extra humid.
Yeah.
And there were mosquitoes buzzing around, and with the light off, you can't see them, but you can sure hear them. And so it's, yeah, I mean, to hide from the mosquitoes, you could get under a blanket or in your sleeping bag, but not if you're like sweating,
you would
just
sweat
laying
even
there.
more.
So I noticed this fan on the wall at the corner of my bunk, like at the foot of the bed. So I turned it on, and it actually felt really good, and it was getting some airflow around, because it was like, what's the word?
Rotisserie chicken?
Yes, rotisserie chickering.
Chickering?
Chickening.
Chickening? What the fuck? You're getting sleepy, too.
No, it was like an oscillating, is that? No.
Oscillating? Gyrating?
Yeah, it was totally gyrating. No, it's just going,
Ew.
blowing back and forth. And it was kind of these loud clicks to turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it felt nice. I was trying to fall asleep. As well as with the airflow, it kind of keeps the mosquitoes from landing on you.
Yeah, it does.
And then I heard this like click, click. And then I heard the fan thing. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, I wonder if he was like wanting to turn it up or something. Because I was pretty sure it was the guy below me. And he turns it off. And I was like, motherfucker. I was like, it finally got nice in here. What's wrong?
What are you doing?
So
why?
The fan gets turned off, and I am just sweltering laying there. And now the mosquitoes are like just hammering me. And I was like, okay.
They love sweaty.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
Sweaty, and if you've had drinks. And I had like 3 beers. And
I was in the other room getting just as sweaty and just as pegged with mosquitoes, I think.
Oh my God, it was miserable.
It was not fun.
To mention, oh my God, just the people in the room too.
Oh, see, I had
So I had this
mates.
big heavy guy that was a snorer/farter in his sleep.
Was he underneath you?
No, he was at the bottom of the bunk,
but
the bunk next to mine, but at the bottom.
Think if you were just like getting hotboxed with his farts,
Yeah,
like
gross.
Rising.
This guy was just a
bunk.
gross man. And anyway, so I'm just laying there sweating again with now the fan off.
Mm-hmm.
And the fan's by my bed anyway, so I'm laying there uncomfortably, and finally I remember that I had this, in some places they give you this sheet for the bed, and it's for bed bugs, and it's a really thin thing. And
it's like a lunch lady hairnet.
It totally is, but it's for the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept one from a previous stay just for this case, because sometimes you get these beds that are like plasticky, and if you sweat on it and it's on plastic, it's so disgusting.
Yeah.
So I keep it for that in case I get another one of those, and I can just lay that down, and I'm not like, feel like I'm stuck to this plastic disgusting mat. So I ended up using that as like a mosquito, cover as well. Yeah, that's the one. It's like a mosquito shield.
Yeah.
As well as to not get in my sleeping bag and become, just douse myself in my own sweat, which I was already sweating.
Mhm.
So I used that, and then I was still just like fucking sweaty. So I was like, the fan's going back on. I don't care. I was like ready to go to war with this guy.
Fan war.
So I clicked it back on, but I did put it on low, and then instead of having
Gyrate.
having the gyrated fin, instead of having it swivel back and forth, I just like locked it just on me, and I had a lovely maybe 90-minute sleep that night.
Oh, good.
So that was.
Yeah. Well,
And then we woke up and had oh my god, it just kept going, guys.
It kept going, guys.
That was
you
just.
have no idea. It's like every night. No, it's been
No,
weird.
I'm at that place. Like,
no, for sure. I
the
know.
breakfast.
I'm just joking. But yeah, the breakfast was ridiculous. We got up and we get down there, and she's in a hurry again, like she always is, and just like, oh, do you want? And she's buttering shit at me so fast, and I'm so sleepy and did not sleep good. I'm like, what are you saying to me? And I thought she just wanted to give me warm milk in a glass. And I'm like, okay. And I was going to put instant coffee in the warm milk. And I'm like, fine, whatever. And so I thought that was just the way that she did it. But she had, like, offered me water in a glass or this milk in a glass. And I'm like, okay. And so I just took Carl was like, no, you want, like, warm water, right?
So
I
had gotten down there first. And there was like 1 cup of hot water, and I was like, well, there was 1 cup of water, and I was like, I was told there was coffee, and this one other lady was like, yes, it's the cup, there's hot water in that, and you can use that, and I was like, and then I saw the coffee, and I was like, oh, it's instant coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad to have this feeling of camping while I'm paying like top dollar for this fucking albergue.
It wasn't cheap either.
It wasn't.
Thing. Yeah. And
so it was instant coffee, and it turns out it was water that she microwaved
in a glass.
And I was like, holy fuck. As well as it being instant coffee, and then the toast was like this fake cracker toast.
It's a cracker toast.
Yeah. It's not real bread, but it's in the shape of like a cut loaf of bread.
Yeah. And it's like the cheapest crackery toast you can find. And so there's like 2 of those, 1 little muffin thing, and
no, there wasn't.
There wasn't?
No.
Oh, I'm making that
You
up.
had the instant coffee, you had the shit cracker toast thing, and then you had 2 little packets of butter and 1 packet of jam.
Oh, that's
and that was our €5,
breakfast.
Yeah, fancy breakfast.
That's awesome.
And Snore McFarty that was eating in front of me was just like, had his fill of shit breakfast and was like, okay, well, I'm ready to go. And I was like, really? I was like, I'm disappointed as fuck and ready to get out of here, but not in the same mood that you're in.
I thought he was like so stoked on his breakfast. He's like, like he made those noises.
He was.
I'm like, what? Yeah.
And he was like,
so bizarre.
Rolled his cigarette and was ready to go up front and have a smoke and then just start his pleasant day because of how
he kept everybody else up with his farts.
Oh, God.
Anyways. Yeah, so this was Pendueles, and apparently Sam and Yana had an entirely different experience. Like
and they kept going like, are you sure it was the same place?
Yeah, what the fuck?
It totally was.
So even today, we like started walking down the road, and I thought I saw a sign that was leading us back to Pendueles. I was like, no! I had joked that it's like we're in this continuous loop of like a Twilight Zone that's just going to keep us going back to Pendueles on this Camino. So yeah, Pendueles has kind of been a running joke. And the place is called Casa Flor if anybody wants to go and stay there. It's
highly recommended.
Quite the experience.
5 stars.
So, yeah, definitely.
With every dollar.
Definitely go visit it. So, anyways, what else has been?
That was one evening and morning.
See, this is the thing. Like, we've experienced 11 days since we last recorded. It feels like 4 weeks ago. Like, it honestly feels like so much longer than that. It's kind of odd, but there's some sort of time warp here on the...
I like how you just repeated the same thing.
Did I?
But, like, said it slower, like you were going to say something more, like, clever or profound.
Hey, I'm doing the best with what I've got, and you should literally see how we are sitting in this hammock.
We've talked about that, too.
I know. Shut your mouth. But I'm just reiterating. This is why I'm tired. Carl has me laying down in a hammock. So...
You have us laying down in a hammock.
You're the one that's pushed your legs up so far. You started rocking us, and then you started scooching back and further, and now I have no choice but to be almost laying down. Yes. Ew. Okay. Yeah, see there? Now we're sitting up a little bit
now
more.
you're so awake.
Anywho, so back to this little time warp. But it is. It's like time doesn't really exist on the Camino. It's odd. It seems like everything lasts so much longer than it actually does. So, yeah, when we think back to the very first day, it seems like we're fucking older.
It could have been the last trip, it feels like.
It does. It really does. It's odd. Very odd.
Anything else you want to say?
I'm sleepy. No, but I should probably go tell him that I might eat here tonight, so I'm probably going to go do that.
All right.
But today we did luck out, and we got to a very rude, weird man at his albergue where we did book a couple nights stay. We did book a night's stay, and because we had gotten there earlier, because we gave ourselves kind of a shorter day.
Because we've had like 3 pretty decent days in a row.
Yeah. He said we were there too early.
And we didn't walk far enough.
And he wanted to give our beds to people who had walked far enough.
He was saying he would prefer it if people walked 50 kilometers and arrived at 8 o'clock at night. Yeah. And those are the beds he wants to give to pilgrims.
Yeah.
And we're not real pilgrims, and we aren't having the real experience.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
So that was... And it started off when I first arrived, and this girl had shown up. Mm-hmm. And there was a sign on the door that said that it didn't open until 1:02, which is a weird time anyway.
Yeah.
And the girl just had to use the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, he's in there. You can knock and ask. I don't know. It says it doesn't open until 1:02, but... And it was like 12:30. It wasn't like it was like 10 in the morning or something.
Yeah.
It was, going to open soon. And he wouldn't let her in for her to use the bathroom.
Yeah, what the hell?
So she had to keep going. And I was like, oh, so that was the weird start. And then it just got worse from kind of him talking shit.
Yeah, then Yana and I walked up and just got well, first he has these 2 adorable pups that walk up and they're just like, and cute and lovey, and oh my god, I was loving it. And then he starts talking to Yana, and he asks for, like...
Because Yana's Spanish is pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
She's studied Spanish and...
Well, she spent, like, 5 months or something in southern Spain. Yeah. So she just said, yeah, I was forced to learn it. I was like, oh, cool. And so she's talking to him, and he said something like, after he had looked at our passports, like, you guys didn't walk far enough? And she's like, this is weird. And so she's kind of, like, relaying to us what he's saying. And so we're immediately, stop swinging us. What are you doing?
Mm.
And so she's telling us that, he's just giving her a really weird vibe. And so then everything that we had just said, she had relayed that he was saying to us. And we're like, yeah, I think we're going to keep going. But we, once Sam showed up, we literally walked, maybe 2-3 minutes down the road and found this amazing amazing albergue with this super nice big yard. They have
really warm and welcoming.
So warm and welcoming. We had 7 of us that all walked in at the same time, and she's like, I happen to have 7 beds. And we're like, oh. And it's like really new and nice, and they have a
And we're with
kitchen,
more people that we want to be with.
Yeah,
and
it worked out. So if you're walking the north route of the Camino and you're leaving, where was
Aviles.
Aviles.
Or San Martin.
Or San Martin. And you're wanting to stay at
La
Naranja
de Peregrina.
Yeah.
Avoid it, please.
Probably not, because he's
Don't
going
give this
to...
douchebag business.
Yeah, he's going to act superior than you, because he knows that all the Caminos, or all the pilgrims on the Caminos have to walk a certain amount, and it's just ridiculous. Bunch of bull.
And then he was apparently saying that we have to walk more tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm just like, don't tell me what to do.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what a weirdo. Anyways, he just lost 7 pilgrims worth of business, so.
Yeah, I hope no one shows up there.
Yeah, totally. What a jerk. And we were telling the ladies about it here, and they're like, yeah, he's never been really friendly to us. He just opened up a few months ago, and he tried putting his signs in front of ours, and they're like, yeah, we don't really, talk to him that much, so. A little bit bizarre, but, those are the kind of days you have on the Camino. The Camino. Okay, I'm done. How about you? You good?
I'm good.
All right, we love you all. We miss you a whole bunch. We're thinking about you all the time. And give yourself a hug for us right now. Do it. I don't care how silly you think you look. Wrap your arms around yourself and hug yourself. And that's from us. You're welcome. All right. We love you guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.